Hello, this is Ed Nadwadney with E5 Mortgage, and I wanted to go over what we've got on ITN mortgage loans. E5 Mortgage does specialize in ITINs, and those are for those people that may not have a Social Security because they've got a temporary work visa or temporary citizenship in the United States, but we can do loans in most of those cases. So I wanted to present to you what to do. So an ITIN, no Social Security number guidelines, and this is with or without a U.S. credit score. It is much easier and a better loan and better terms if you've got a U.S. credit score. But if you do not have a U.S. credit score, we should still be able to do it. It's just going to require some additional information. Now, what we're going to be talking about is what we will need. Talk a little bit about how to build your credit if you don't have a U.S. credit score, types of programs, and your next steps. So credit history, to save you the most money and get the best interest rates and closing cost, it's best to have a U.S. credit score, and you want it to go back to 2 years, and the score, you really want it to be 720 or higher. Now, if you don't have a U.S. credit score, again, I do have some options for those who do not have that, but we do need some special requirements, and they do require at least 35% down, so it's a little bit more money to get into a home. But if you don't have a U.S. credit history and a credit score, the best thing that I could recommend you do is go to creditbuildercard.com/E5 mortgage. We have partnered with this credit card company, and they specialize in helping people build up their credit score. So what they're going to do is you will open up a secured credit card with them, and then what they're going to do is immediately start reporting your credit behaviors to the credit bureaus. Now you're going to have to use the card on a weekly basis, and then show that you're responsible by paying off the minimum balance every month, and that's going to drastically help your credit score. Now, with that said, you want to keep your credit line every month under about 3 to 5%. So if you got a credit line of $1,000 and you don't want to have a credit balance of no more than $300 per month, and you want to pay off whatever the minimum payment is for that every month. Now, another way you can do that, there is an advantage because you can take advantage of somebody else's good credit score. If you've got a family member that has excellent credit, now you want to make sure they've got excellent credit. You don't want to do this with someone that's got bad credit, late payments, anything like that. You want to make sure they've got at least a 750, 780 credit score or higher, and they're willing to let you do this, but have them put you on their credit card. And then after about 2 or 3 months, that credit card is going to start showing up on your credit report, and their good credit rating will start showing up on your credit score, and that'll build up your credit score. But you want to make sure that they do have good credit rating. Now, to get the best rates credit, now most of the time we can do a 660 or higher credit score. 720 or higher is the place that you want to be. Most cases, 20% down. We can do as little as 11% down, but 20% down is the average. You get better rates that way. Your back-end debt-to-income ratio needs to be 43% or less. We can do up to 50%, but again, that reflects on your interest rate. Right here, I'm talking about to get your best rates and closing costs. You want to try to keep it at 43% or better. What is your back-end DTI, debt to income ratio? That is your gross income divided by all your debts, which mean your mortgage payment, the taxes, your insurance, your auto loans, credit cards, any type of debt, student loans, any type of debt that you have, it all gets bundled into one number, and you divide that by your gross income, and you want to have that to be 43% or less. And the loan amounts, we can do up to 1.5 million is what we normally can do up to. Required documents. Now this is important. We've got to have a loan application filled out, and then you've got to give us authorization to pull your credit report. Your credit score, it's best to have it at 620 or better. 660 is an ideal place to be. 720 is where you want to be. If you don't have a credit score, a U.S. credit score, then it is going to require more money down and more verification. You need an unexpired passport or a driver's license. We're going to need at least 12 months of bank statements, but a lot of times we're going to need 24 months. So I would prepare to have 24 months of your most recent bank statements. We're going to have employment verification, 2 years of your personal tax returns, 2 years of your business tax returns if you own a business. Verification of rental history. So if you're renting a place, then they're going to want to look at that rental history, make sure you're making those rental payments on time. They'll usually go back 12 months. Sometimes they'll want to go back 24 months. Verification of your funds. So they're going to want to look at where the funds are coming from, and that's why they're going to go back 12 months, maybe even 24 months of your bank statements. Don't get offended by this. This has to do with all the new laws and regulations because of the drug dealing and the money laundering and the corporate theft that goes on these days. And so any large deposits will have to be verified of where that source came from. Usually we need the last 2 years of your W-2s or 1099s, depending on how you get paid. Last 30 days of pay stubs. And again, if you do not have U.S. credit history score, then we need proof of history from utilities, phone bills, along with that rental history. Programs. We've got several programs. I'm going to touch just on a couple of them. This one's a full doc ITIN. This will offer up to 89% loan to value. That means 11% down. We can do a no U.S. FICO score, but usually with a no FICO score, we're looking at about 35% down, and we can go as low as 620. Again, the lower the credit score, the more money they're going to want down. ITIN, U.S. citizen, we can combine those. Primary age earner score is the score that we're going to use to represent the the borrower. Expired EAD acceptable, erroneous social and W-2s, pay stubs, credit reports. So if you got some stuff going on there, we can usually look at those, get letters of explanation, and they'll waive those. DACA is acceptable. Asylum seeker CO8 is acceptable. No visa requirements. You can get a seller's concession on the purchase up to 6% of that value. Non-warranty condos we can do. If you're living rent-free, then we can a lot of times waive with a letter of explanation and a letter from who you're living with saying that you live there rent-free. We do have 7-1 ARMs. We can get up to 50% back-end debt-to-income ratio. We can allow gift funds. 100% gift funds are allowable. Gift of equity is acceptable. Cash out allowed, and cash out proceeds may be used for reserve requirements. There's a ITIN 24-month bank statements, basically kind of the same thing. Cash out allowed, gifts of equity is acceptable, 100% gift funds. We can use 100% of the business deposit on this one as income, whether it's personal business or commingled. Now this one is up to 80% maximum loan to value. That means a 20% down. ITIN DSCR, this is an investor loan. On these investor loans for ITINs, we can do 65% loan to value, 6% of ratios, up to $1 million loan amount. Gift funds are allowed, gift of equity allowed, cash out allowed. It can be an on-lease property, and then we can use projected leases to qualify this. Short-term rentals, income's allowed. Seller's concession on this is up to 3%. And cash out proceeds may be used for your reserve requirements. Your next steps you want to do is you want to call a mortgage loan officer who specializes in ITIN loans. These are not cookie cutter loans. Each loan is individually handled with white gloves. There's a lot of documentation, there's a lot of patience, there's a lot of things required to get these loans done. And so you got to team up with someone who knows what they're doing, that can get the job done. There is nothing worse than saying someone has approved you for a loan and then 3 or 4 days before your closing date, they deny the loan. So you got to work with someone that understands these loans and can get you approved prior to you start making offers. You want to fill out that loan application, and then you want to approve your loan officer to run your credit report so we can start working on your file and let you know what's going to be needed, how we're going to handle certain things. Then you get approved to the loan. You got to provide us with the documentation that we request, because that's part of the approval process. And then after we get those documentations, we review everything, we speak with the lenders, we find you a loan program, and then that gets you approved for the loan. And then what happens is you make an offer on a home and have that offer accepted. And then at closing, you close on the home, it gets funded after closing, and then you move into your new home. Congratulations. So you may contact us. You can give us a call at 972-325-6218. You can email me at ed@e5mortgage.com. We are licensed in Texas and in Florida, and you can go to our website and apply for a loan at e5mortgage.com. Thank you, and have a wonderful day.